Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. Man, do I have a show for y'all today, and you know what it is. It is LeBron James. And let me be clear about that. It is LeBron, the genius James. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. He absolutely is a genius, and I'll tell you why. But before we get to that, you already know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please click that subscribe, that like, and that notification bell so you can be notified whenever any new content drops on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in the Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, please give us that like, that thumbs up, or give us that 5-star review. I appreciate it all. Please also leave us a comment, whether here on YouTube or on your audio podcast platform. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Now let's get right to it. Yes, sir. LeBron James. Okay. Why did I call LeBron James a genius? Well, here's the deal. If you're a basketball fan, really, if you're a sports fan and you've been around the last couple days, I think it was not yesterday, but the day before, um, this an interesting thing came up with LeBron James. So a few days ago, LeBron and the Lakers were in Miami playing against those guys, the Miami Heat. Obviously, his former team, where he spent 4 years and went to 4 straight NBA Finals and won 2 championships with teammates Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and then Ray Allen, and a lot of other quality role players. So obviously he did some recollecting now that he's kind of in the twilight of his NBA career, and he had some very interesting comments to say, and I'm going to read those comments to you. And after this, I'm going to tell you why I think he's a genius. Okay. I learned a lot being here, James said, and it was a great time. Obviously my 4 years here were great times playing for this franchise, playing under Heat coach Eric Spoelstra. Let me interrupt real quick. That's interesting because he tried to get Coach Spo fired. But anyway, obviously being with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and Udonis Haslem and so many other guys that we had on the court throughout the 4 years that we did some really good things, some really special things down here. This is definitely a big part of my career. He goes on to say, I just grew. I was 25 years old when I came here, still a kid, even though I was 7 years in. But I came here for one reason and one reason only. Now, let's pay attention to this. And that was to win championships. That was my only goal. That was the only reason I teamed up with D Wade and Bosh, because I felt like I couldn't do it in Cleveland. I tried to recruit guys to come to Cleveland. I tried to go and help the upstairs, and it wasn't happening. So I had an opportunity to be a free agent. So I did what I thought was best, not only for my career, but for me at that point in time. People talk about Heat culture. It was a culture change, period. I was changing everything about my life for the first time in my life. To be able to be here and to be able to learn alongside D Wade, UD, and Spo, those guys who had won it already, it definitely was great to be a part of, for sure. Okay. So here's the thing, right? He says this, and obviously, they go on and they play the game, and all that's cool. Then, the next day, I thought it was really interesting. This is where it kind of goes haywire. I think it was Bleacher Report, basically having a tweet and putting out something about why, or about how special it was that LeBron was there, and I think the question was along the lines of would he have had the same career or a similar career had he not gone to Miami? And of course, LeBron responds, and I'm not going to quote it directly, but LeBron basically says, hell yeah, I would have had the same career had I not gone to Miami. I'm chosen, blah, 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 right? So this is where it gets so interesting for me, because I think you got to be a fool to believe this. And so what do I mean when I say LeBron is a genius? This is where it gets to it, right? So early on in this season, we got a lot of great storylines in the NBA. We got Luka Doncic getting back to, being Luka. Obviously, the biggest storyline is Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs rookie superstar, and he's pretty much a superstar already. He's not putting up crazy numbers, but everyone is enthralled with his ability and what he's displaying, and basically being something that allegedly no one's ever seen before. Now that could be another show for another time, but if anybody remembers a guy named Ralph Sampson, yeah, we have seen Wembanyama before. But anyway, that's a different story. Regardless, so there hasn't been a whole ton of talk about LeBron James, right? We just saw Jokic yesterday pass LeBron James for triple doubles. I think Jokic now has 108 triple doubles. LeBron has 107, and he did it in like 800 less games. Now, again, that could be, style of play, the way the NBA is now, and all that is cool. But still, 800 fewer games is crazy to say that, he passed a guy like LeBron James, that quickly. And so knowing LeBron and knowing his team, obviously I don't personally know LeBron, but knowing LeBron in terms of what we've seen from him for all these years, the last 21 years, and knowing his team, I'm sure they're saying, wait a minute, we're not getting enough attention here. LeBron's name is not trending enough. So what do? They say something that's going to get it going again, right? Because at the end of the day, what is this? There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Now, I don't know that I believe that, but that's kind of the saying. And LeBron, I've talked about this before. Every time, his name kind of fades a little bit, he says or does something to bring himself right back up into the trending. And he's done it again with this commentary, basically saying that he would have had the same career had he not gone to Miami. Now, based on the quote that I just read you, that is absolutely absurd. There is no question LeBron James does not have the same career that he would have had he not gone to Miami. Now, where I found this to be so crazy, who's one of LeBron James's absolute biggest supporters in the media? You got Nick Wright, you got Colin Cowherd, Jason McIntyre, and who's the last one? Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is such a big LeBron guy that if you remember last season in LA, he almost got in a fight with the Memphis Grizzlies and with John Morant's father because he was busy defending LeBron James, which that was also absurd. But I did a show on that. You can check the channel. Anyway, Shannon Sharpe is one of LeBron's biggest defenders. And so something happened that would astound you. And he was on First Take, he and Stephen A. Smith, obviously, and they were responding to LeBron's comments. And I'll just let you hear it for yourself, and then we'll come back and discuss that. Check it out.
Hey, Shannon.
Yes.
Do you agree with what LeBron said about his time in Miami?
Hell no, I vehemently disagree. I strenuously disagree with what he said. At the time that he had arrived in Miami, he had two regular season MVPs and one finals appearance through his first 7 seasons. LeBron, do you realize the reason why you got into the GOAT conversation? Because of what transpired in Miami? You won 2 more finals MVPs. You won 2 more regular season MVPs. You went to 4 straight finals. LeBron, how can you say that your career was going to be the same without going to Miami? LeBron, I'm not so sure, had you not gone to Miami, how do I make a compelling case, and I can argue any case before the Supreme Court, how do I make a case that he's a top 5 player if he doesn't go to Miami, Stephen A? I don't understand why LeBron wants to be so dismissive. Okay, I get it. You dislike Pat Riley. Pat Riley didn't give you the latitude that Cleveland, like the Lakers, do. I get everything that you're saying from that aspect, but to sit there and sit in front of the media and say your career was going to be the career. Come on, LeBron, man, you got to stop this. It's okay to give the Miami Heat the credit that they deserve.
Man, I almost caught a heart attack. I cannot believe I am so proud of you right now. I thought you were going to disagree. This touches my heart, Shannon Sharpe. I didn't believe you were capable of such a thing.
Hey, come on.
With LeBron, I mean, we are marching locks. It's supposed to be a debate show. But damn it, ain't no debate here.
No.
Because you're 1,000% correct. What the hell is wrong with you, LeBron? What the hell is wrong with you? Let me tell y'all something. LeBron James loses in Boston. When he goes to Miami, how does it happen? You got James Dolan talking about making him a billionaire. That didn't work. You got other teams looking at him. Pat Riley rolled up and put rings on the table.
Right.
Do you want these? Okay. Well, here's how you get them. Now, obviously, I've broken the story about how he's going to end up taking his talents to South Beach. But make no mistake about it. Do y'all understand the greatness of a Hall of Famer by the name of Dwayne Wade?
Yes.
He was a great player. He was a great leader. Let's go back to LeBron's rookie year. LeBron, every press conference was D. Wade looking right at it, was sitting right next to him. Why was that? Because mentally, despite the greatness of LeBron James as a talent, mentally he was warped. He was scared to shoot free throws. He was scared to really take the bull by the horn. Give me the rock. I'm that dude. I'm that man. Okay? So much so that even after they lost in the finals to Dallas, when Jason Terry was guarding him in the post in the 4th quarter.
And J.J. Barea.
And J.J. Barea. Okay? No, Como style, by the way. The bottom line is this. When that happened, The following year, All-Star Weekend, and I've said this many times, LeBron James got the ball in his hands. The late, great Kobe Bryant claps his hands, let's go, and defended him. An exhibition All-Star game to just having a good time. And he threw the ball in the corner, and it was a turnover. And Melo, D-Wade, Kobe, everybody descended on LeBron. What's the matter with you? He was warped. And that is why, Shannon Sharp, I haven't given him the title as GOAT, because I got to take into account all of those things before you started winning championships. And what I'm saying is that he's been going against Jordan and those brothers with that kind of mentality before he ever won a championship. He'd have never won one. They'd have shut it down because they'd have snatched his heart. But because he got to Miami and learned what it took to be a champion, he's been unstoppable since.
But anyway, so you heard Shannon Sharp say, you know, what should seem obvious to anybody with sense, right? So let me go back to the quote that I read you earlier, which is crazy, right? Quote, I came here for one reason, here being Miami, and one reason only, and that was to win championships. That was my only goal. That was the only reason I teamed up with D-Wade and Bosh, because I felt like I couldn't do it in Cleveland. I tried to recruit guys to come to Cleveland. I tried to go and help the upstairs, and it wasn't happening. So I had an opportunity to be a free agent, so I did what I thought was best, unquote. So he says it right there. You felt like you couldn't win in Cleveland. So this is just logic, right? This is just common sense here. If you say that you felt like you couldn't win in Cleveland, so you went to Miami to do so, how can you then turn around and say later that if you hadn't gone to Miami, you still would have had the same career? I'll wait. Does that make any sense to any rational person? It just doesn't. It doesn't add up, like I like to say, you know? And, you know, like Joy Taylor and those guys on Speak like to say, the math ain't mathin', right? The math ain't mathin'. You can't say that you went somewhere to get something accomplished. And you did. Credit due. You did. But then if you didn't go there, then you would have still had the same career. When you admitted to everyone, the quote is there, that you couldn't do it where you were. That doesn't add up. Now, nobody's saying that LeBron never would have won had he stayed in Cleveland or had he not gone somewhere else. Nobody's saying that, right? When you are an all-time great player like he is, and when you've had the all-time great career like he has, nobody would be dumb enough to say that LeBron never would have won. I don't think that that's the case at all. All right. I know you're probably surprised to hear that coming from me, but I really don't believe that. Now, at the end of the day, does he win 4? Does he have 10 trips to the finals? Does he have 4 finals MVPs? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's be real. It's not just winning in Cleveland, right? Not just winning the championship. Dwayne Wade and Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra taught him how to win, okay? They're the ones that taught him how to win on that championship level. I mean, that's just a fact, right? We know that. Stephen A. Smith often likes to talk about how in that first year with Miami, every interview LeBron did, Dwayne Wade was sitting right there next to him. Dwayne Wade was the guide. Dwayne Wade was the guide. Now, was LeBron all-time great during that 4-year stretch? Of course he was. Most people say that that was the best LeBron has ever been in his career. I don't know if that's the case. You could probably say that. He was probably at the peak of his athletic powers at that time. I think he made multiple All-NBA defensive teams. I'm not going to get into that, but he did. Obviously, he went to the finals 4 straight times, won 2 finals MVPs. Cool. He did all that. But again, he's not doing that if he doesn't go to Miami. Maybe he figures it out somewhere. Maybe. But it is what it is. Now, I thought it was interesting that when he said he tried to recruit guys to come to Cleveland. Now, from everything I've read over the years, I think that's true. Not saying that it's not. And Cleveland, for a lot of people, especially people with money, is not the most desirable place to live. I get it. However, it's very interesting that he says that, you know, he tries to recruit people to come to Cleveland because Cleveland, despite the narrative that the mainstream media wants to feed you, tried to put elite talent, maybe not elite talent, but they tried to put the best talent available around LeBron James when he was there in his first stint. They tried, but, you know, sometimes people wouldn't come or it didn't work out. Now, I know one thing, close to when LeBron was getting ready to leave there, I want to say the year before, I think I read that Ron Artest, aka Meta World Peace, Michael Redd, and I think somebody else, I can't remember the third player, were all willing to sign there, but all they were asking is, LeBron, are you going to be here? We'll come, we'll sign, we'll play with you, but are you going to be here? And LeBron refused to let those guys know that he would be there to give them any kind of security in signing. So they're like, okay, we're not. So this narrative that, he couldn't get any players around him, yeah, not quite true. Not quite true. But so be it. So again, it just the logic of it, you saying that you would have had the same career, it just doesn't add up, man. That's all there is to it. But again, kudos to LeBron. He is brilliant as always. His name starts to fade a little bit, so he's got to say something, as ridiculous as it may be, to get it back in to get it back in that trending space. And cool, I'm sitting here doing a show about it. I'm sitting here talking about it, right? Why? Because it's a big story. It's trending. It's something that I needed to touch on, something that I needed to give my thoughts on. It's something that everybody in the mainstream sports world and the internet sports world is discussing, right? And that is brilliance on LeBron's part. I'm not being facetious when I say that. The guy has absolutely mastered marketing, himself and his team. And hey, more power to him. It really is a smart move. So what I want to know from you, do you think it makes any sense whatsoever that LeBron, after clearly stating that he went to Miami to win championships and he couldn't do it in Cleveland, says that had he not gone to Miami, he would have had the same career? Does that make any sense to you? Am I crazy? What are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Can't wait to hear from you. I'll be back with you next episode, and I'm out. Peace.